We're excited to be here, definitely. Had a good trip so far. Our kids have done an outstanding job in the last 2 to 3 weeks in our preparation. It kind of goes to show you got these guys up here. We've got really good leadership on this team, especially on the defensive side, and they've made our job really easy.
Great. We'll open it up for questions. We'll go in the middle on the left.
Jeremy, I was just curious, this is the 5th straight year that a team from the state of Alabama has played for the national championship. Having coached in that state both in college and high school, is there anything you can pinpoint as a reason why that state has been so successful at the college level? Does it have to do with the high school coaches, the quality of players in that state? Can you just give me some clarity on that?
Well, I think if you look across the South, in the last 25 years, a lot of the national champions have come out of the South. I mean, high school football is very important in the South. Me being from Alabama, I know that we take a lot of pride in the fact that we work hard and do things the right way. My background being a high school coach with my father, and I think that it's still important in the state of Alabama. High school football. And it's kind of funny as we're riding over here, the guy we're riding with is from Minnesota, and he was talking about, he said, Coach, he said in Minnesota, he said ice hockey is the most important thing. So, but yeah, I don't know, maybe it's luck, I don't know what it is, but.
We'll go to the far left on the aisle.
Hi, Coach Pruitt. Talk about the defensive team being a bit overshadowed by Jameis Winston and the Heisman hype there, and whether or not, and if each of these guys could even make a quick comment about defense having something to prove as well, because everyone's talked about Jameis.
Well, the first thing is we're a team at Florida State, and it's a team game. We were excited for Jameis, and I think Jameis's first statements was if he had a vote in the Heisman, his vote would be for the Florida State football team. We don't feel like we've been overshadowed. We work against each other every day. We take pride in the fact that, we compete with each other, we pull for each other, and it's a team thing for us. It's not an offense, a defense, a Jameis or anything like that. It's a Florida State thing. Well, the first thing, everybody talks about how we tweak the defense. Jimbo laid out exactly what he wanted for us as far as the tweaks. I mean, this is Jimbo's philosophy and what we're trying to get done. He brought me in, and there's a reason, because of background, and he was familiar with the background. So it's kind of, he laid the foundation. He says, this is the players we've got. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to get it done. And it says a lot about our seniors, the guys who are setting up here. We've had tremendous leadership this year because, Florida State, they've been playing good defense, since before these guys were born. Coach Andrews, there's a you got a reputation when you put on that helmet, and playing defense at Florida State. So these guys bought in, hook, line, and sink. They said, coach me, coach. We worked at it. It was a work in progress. It took us a while to get to where we wanted to be, and and we're still working every day. Nothing's changed with us. It's attention to detail, and we've got 5 more days left. We've kind of counted it down all year. Anybody can do anything for 5 days. That's what we got left. When I was offered the job, I just wanted to be a part of an organization. I wanted to go work for Coach Saban. I wanted to be one of Coach Saban's guys. For a guy that was a high school coach, it's been 8 years ago. I'm lining off fields. I'm washing practice uniforms. I'm going to pick guys up. So I to sit here and say I'm going to be here today, no, I didn't dream of it. We're kind of coming on the way over here. This is the 4th time in the last 5 years I've had an opportunity to be a part of the national championship game. And so I've been very blessed, been very fortunate to be around, in really good programs, a lot of good guys, and just, I'm excited to be around this group here. This is probably my favorite group I've ever been around.
We'll go in the middle of the room.
Hi, this question's for all you guys. At the SEC championship game, Coach Pinkel said that he wished he had a month to prepare for Auburn's offense. How much of a benefit is it, specifically with Auburn, the way Auburn runs their offense, having a month to prepare for it?
I'll take this one. Regardless whether it's a week, a month, or whatever, the bottom line is You got to be able to tackle in space. They're going to get ball carriers out in space. You got to be able to get lined up. These guys go extremely fast. You can watch Coach Malzahn over the years. Wherever he's been, he goes really fast. Seems like he gets teams discombobulated a little bit. You've got to keep them cut off. You got to eliminate the explosive plays in the pass game. You got to find a way to create some turnovers. They're going to make plays. You got to, once they get down to the red area, you got to make them earn it. Try to hold them to some field goals. But whether it's a week or a month, they get a month too, so they get the same amount of time. So I don't know that there is an advantage to that, but it is what it is, and that's the things that we feel like we got to do to be successful in this game.
We'll go to the left, fourth row.
Coach, how much is your past experience being in this game obviously try to keep these guys from hitting that boiling point before you get to game night? Obviously getting ready for them. How has that preparation been with the long layoff?
We have a lot of experience on our staff with guys who have coached in national championship games. Me, Sal Sinceri, Jimbo, Randy Sanders, Odell Hagans. That's unusual to have that many guys that's been here and kind of done it before. I think, we can draw on our past experiences, knowing what we need to do, what not to do. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a new game. It's going to be about who plays the best for, those 60 minutes, on the 6th. So we just got to be able to, control what we can control and get our guys in position to have success.
We'll go in the middle aisle on the left.
Jeremy, in that vein, having coached with Jimbo and Sal, Jimbo having coached with Nick and Sal and you together with Nick, how much does continuity like that and familiarity give you an advantage as you came in as defensive coordinator?
Well, first of all, there's only a few folks that I would go work for, that I would leave the University of Alabama to go work for. And one of them would be Jimbo Fisher, obviously. And it's because of the familiarity, the type person that he is. When you come in our program and you walk around just the hallways at Florida State and you see how our players respond to our head football coach, you want to be a part of it. It's the easiest recruiting tool we have is our players. They love our head coach. He loves them. He's a player's coach. Now, does he coach them hard? Sure he does. But the thing about it is they know that he cares about them on and off the field. And, having an opportunity to work with Jimbo has been great for me and really for just who he stands for.
We'll go in the center in the far back.
This question is for Jeremy. Jeremy, talk about your father as a high school coach up at Plainview High School and how you learned so much from him. And most importantly, now you have a son there at quarterback playing. Tell me about Plainview, your relationship with him and just growing up in North Sand Mountain around that area.
Well, being a coach's son, you're kind of drug around the field house all the time. I was never sent to a babysitter. I went with my dad. He's lining off the fields. He's mowing the grass. I'm hanging around the field house. And to me, looking back on this, it's the best time of my life. Having the opportunity to spend that time with him. And we had, Coach gave us 3 days off for Christmas break. The first thing I did is I took the tape home from Auburn, and I've got it plugged up in there, and me and him's watching Auburn. I'm seeing if there's anything that he can help us figure out a way to stop these guys. But yeah, it's really special to not only just to spend time with your father, but to share the same love, the same profession. And he still does it today. And I've said this many times before. He stays on me a little bit because now obviously he coaches my son. But he says I'm the worst parent he's ever had. But it's really special times being with him.
We'll go to the left on the aisle.
Coach, this is just the second time that we've been able to talk to you. The players themselves, like you made changes, like the Christian Jones from linebacker to kind of more of a defensive end role. Since you're new, how are the players responding? And I've heard certain players say, wow, the playbook's kind of complicated. We're finally getting it. How do you make sure that you took time to talk to them? Like, who is the guy that we don't see, in a practice, how the players are responding and the players can respond too? Because we're trying to get to know more about who you are.
Well, the biggest thing, our guys they're unselfish. I mean, whatever we ask them to do, they were willing to do it. LaMarcus has played safety his whole career at Florida State, and the first thing we do is move him to corner, move him to nickel. Christian's moved from linebacker to defensive end. There's a lot of guys, and if you look where the guys are playing at today, if you probably looked at our two deep and said, okay, here's whoever it is, our defensive ends, D tackles, corners, safeties, and then you looked where we were at in the spring training, there's probably not about 8 or 9 guys that were playing the same spots they were playing in the spring. And some of that was because us getting to know the guys, knowing what they could do. Some of it's because a lot of them were injured in the spring. We had a lot of guys who had surgeries from the previous year. I think this spring, LaMarcus and PJ were the only corners we had. They took every rep all spring. So, but it was kind of a work in progress. But the big thing to me is these guys. They're not worried about individual awards. Okay, they're focused on team goals. And I've never been around a group who loves to practice, who loves to prepare like these guys. And that's saying a lot because I've been around some really good football teams, okay? But these guys, LaMarcus said it, the power of preparation, all right? You have to run them out of our office, all right? They're up there all the time saying, coach me, coach, give me something, give me a tool that's going to help me in this game. I just want a little bit of a nugget. I can tell you this, we've got, to me, the best defensive staff out there with Sal, Charles, and Odell Hagens. You're talking about it's not work. It's really not work. I mean, we're sitting there from the first day we all got together last January. We went out on the road, started recruiting, and I mean, it's really amazing. We're starting to implement, putting things in, and get there whatever time in the morning we look, and Odell's wife's calling saying, "Where's Odell at?" So it's just hours go by, and you really don't even realize that you're what's happened just because you enjoy being around people. To me, the big thing about all those guys is they care about the kids. They love the kids. And that starts with Coach Fisher, the staff that he's put together. To me, I would say just as an organization, there's not a happier place than Florida State, day in and day out. Everybody loves being around everybody. It's fun times. And obviously right now we're winning, but when I went and interviewed at Florida State, I mean, practice wasn't going on. It was in dead period in between the bowl stuff, and there's 20 kids up there in the coaches' offices, and I'm thinking, what are these guys doing up here? They're just hanging out. I'm looking at them, watching them, smiles on their faces. They're just hanging out. That's where they go to hang out, is the coach's office. So it was something, it reminded me a lot of why I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a high school coach. I wanted to have a positive effect on young people. And just seeing that, I said, hey, this is something I want to be a part of.